You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Old School Wrestling After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Old School Wrestling After Show.
Here's my favorite time, old school wrestling. You know, Bing.com is used a lot for looking up things, and so Bing is for doing, and so if you want to do it with Bing, right? I would.
Absolutely.
I'm Ric Drasin, your host, and my co-host today is Lissy Smith.
Hello, everyone.
Who is back again for another time, which I'm really thrilled to have her. She's a wrestler in training. She's also an actress and a model, and she's working at Gold's Gym right now as a personal trainer in Hollywood.
Thank you. Yes, that's me.
That's you. That's Vince Adams, a good friend of mine, was Conan at Universal Studios. He plays football now. He's a bodybuilder. He's won some major titles. He has a lot of knowledge of wrestling and athletics and fitness training and nutrition, and I'm having him here today to be a guest as well. He's just a really good guy. Say hi, Vince.
Hi, everybody.
And then my old friend Jack Armstrong, since I've known since the 70s and wrestled with him many times, has been a legend in wrestling for years. As Wild Man Jack Armstrong did Madison Square Garden, wrestled all over the world. Just said he did 1 million plane miles, 1 million car miles in his career. That's a lot of oil changes.
You got that right. I'm glad to be here in one piece.
Yeah, exactly. And you still have the same car.
A second car.
And all that time.
2 cars in 30 years.
Wow. I know.
35 years, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I know that you would like rebuild the engines and repaint the cars.
No, never did.
No?
No, random miles. My last car had 378,000 miles.
But you did a repaint.
Repaints. Yeah. I do repaints. Yeah.
I know you do.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What kind of car?
Cadillac.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a Coupe de Ville.
You still have the first one? Or?
No, 76 Coupe de Ville. Now I have a 98 de Ville.
Oh, man.
You can put miles on Cadillacs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
378,000.
78, same engine.
Crazy.
It was great.
Does it use oil?
At the end it did.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. In fact, I knew it was time to get rid of it when I went in Hollywood and I'm going up the hill and I'm flooring it. It's only going 5 miles an hour. I said, I think I better get rid of this. It's getting a little dangerous here.
Wow.
Now listen, let's go back. Let's go back in time.
Right.
Close your eyes. Just fantasize and think back about the day that you got into the business. And where were you?
I was in New York and I went to Washington, D.C. with the boys. With Arnold Skolin and Angelo Savoldi.
You're in a deep sleep. Okay, what prompted you to get into wrestling?
That was interesting.
Other than wanting to get close to fat, sweaty old men.
That was very interesting what prompted me.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to the Garden back when I was 12. But it was like, oh, something to do. You know, like going to the basketball game to see Will Chamberlain back in the day. You know, so I said, but I wanted to be a basketball player, really. I didn't want to be a wrestler. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
But I was doing weightlifting. At 13, I started Olympic lifting and stuff like that, so I was Olympic lifting young. And then I go to the Garden 1963, and I saw Bruno against Buddy Rogers. I never seen anything like that. They sold out the steps in the Garden, the old Garden. It was the one on 49th Street. They had 18,000 people, plus people going through the back door. The guy was making money left and right. Every step was taken, all the way up to the top of the balcony. People were standing and everything for the Rogers fight, that match there. When I seen that, I go, I got to do that. I got to do that. I said, that's the day I knew that I got to do it. And the funny thing is, like 6 weeks later, I was training with Bruno at the gym.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to Mid-City and I was training with Bruno.
And you were 12?
Wow.
No, I was then 16.
Okay.
16.
4 years later.
Yeah,
Fast
because I was
forward.
training in another gym for Olympic lifting until I was about 15, 16. Then I went to Mid-City where Bruno was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what sponsored, I mean, what prompted you to get in there with Bruno, and how'd that come about?
No, I knew that they had a wrestling school there. I heard Kenny Ackles had a wrestling school.
Oh, Kenny Ackles,
and
sure.
Tommy Abo was a bodybuilding friend
Yeah.
of mine. He was the one. We're coming back from school one day, and we're on the bus. He says, I'm thinking about becoming a wrestler. We're seniors in high school already. So I said, that sounds like a good idea. So I go like this, right? And he was like Mr. Universe runner-up. He used to win best chest in the universe, like John Grimmick type.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, that's great. So where do we go? So he says, Mid-City. They have a wrestling school there. So we went up
Mid-City Gym?
Mid-City Gym.
I still
Tommy
have-
Unicello.
I still have a T-shirt.
Yeah, the old gym.
Yeah.
So I go up there, and then I joined up to go to wrestling school, and then it was me, Tommy, and this other guy, Bob. There was not many guys wanted to do it in the '60s.
No.
It wasn't a popular thing to do.
Nope.
That would be right up with joining the circus.
Basically, Jack and I were wrestling before wrestling was cool.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. It actually became cool after Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
I would say about that time with Lou Albano, Cyndi
Oh, she had
Lauper.
him in the videos.
Yeah, and they started WrestleMania in 1980s with the WrestleMania. That's when it became really popular.
Yeah, but when you and I got, what year was that?
65 I broke it.
That's when I did 65.
Yeah.
And my friends, and I'm sure your friends said, "What are you, nuts?
Oh yeah, they said you're really out of your mind now.
Why would you want to do that? It's like a carnival. It's low
Wait,
class."
Wait, here's the funny thing. I said, you mean I wasn't out of my mind doing the weightlifting? And they go, yeah, you're out of your mind there too. I wasn't out of my mind playing basketball. Oh, you're out of your mind there too. I wasn't out of my mind throwing shot on the track. You're out of your mind. I was always out of my mind.
Me too. The same thing in high school. I was a lead guitarist in a rock band. On Friday nights, I played all the dances, and then I'm in the gym till midnight working out. Why are you working out? Why do you need to do that? Because I like it.
Right.
And then I got into the wrestling thing. Why are you doing that? Because I like it.
We always did what we wanted.
Exactly. I'd go down and train, come back to the YMCA and take the guys in on the mats and beat up 3 or 4 of my friends and show them how to work. And then we'd have a great time.
It was actually great.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see, and looking back at it, even though injuries and all that stuff that accumulates, but I said I couldn't see doing anything else.
No.
Other than possibly being in a rodeo. Riding broncs.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you
Bulldogging.
remember working at the Olympic Auditorium on Wednesday nights? We did TV.
Right.
What they do Thursday nights at the Olympic Auditorium? Remember?
Thursday nights.
Roller derby.
Roller derby, that's right. Yeah, roller derby.
And a
Yeah.
lot of the guys thought maybe we should go over there for the $15 and do some skating, right?
Right.
And I was like, no, they divide the pie up too much. You don't get any money for it, and then you
Yeah.
got a bump on the wood, and I don't know about that.
No, that was less money.
Yeah, it was less money.
It wasn't official tight like.
But it was popular.
Popular. It was
I used to
popular.
watch that too.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, it was so popular. My ex-wife was roller derby.
Which one, the monk?
A monk.
Oh my God,
She.
I forgot about her.
Right, you forgot about that, right? Now there's a real AJ, a real life one.
Yeah, Jack's been through a few women.
Oh yeah, and they weren't quite normal,
That was all a little crazy.
but they were fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, they were always great.
So, did you train with Bruno?
Yes, always trained with Bruno. Bruno and Spiros Arion back in the day.
Remember him too.
Yeah, Tony Pugliese.
Yep.
Tony Pugliese, yeah. So that was our little group that worked. And Rocky Johnson used
That's
to come
right.
down. Yeah, Rocky Johnson
That's
used to
The
come
Rock's
down.
dad.
The Rock's
Rock's
dad.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew he was in a lineage of like fighting
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was our group. We were up there at Mid-City.
But old school was a whole different world. I mean, was that a wrestling ring or a boxing ring?
I mean, no, it was a mat. Are you ready? It was a 20-foot mat over chest and checkers, where it was this mat that was this thick, and you had to subsidize the walls were your ropes.
Oh.
So you bang into the wall.
Wow.
It was that great. So I used to say to Tommy, I'd go, Tommy, we got to find a ring before I have my real match. Yeah. I got to get the timing of the ropes, right? Timing, right? So I go like this. We ended up going to a boxing gym. It was called Little Madison Square Garden. Across the street from Madison Square Garden, there was a boxing gym with seats and everything.
Yeah.
So we had our friends come down to watch us,
Oh, fun.
right? In the seats. So I said, we almost murdered each other. I go like this. They said, you're not going to really do that. For real. I mean, you're not going to really do this for a living. I said, yeah, it looks that way. And it looks like I got my match in Washington, D.C.,
Yeah.
So I had my first match in Washington, D.C.
All your friends coming down?
Not their first match in Washington, but they used to come down to watch us work out.
Did you have a hard time getting your friends to come watch you? Because I did.
You know what? It was a funny thing. A little different in New York. When they saw I was at the Garden,
Yeah.
everybody wanted to come.
That's a
I
big-
couldn't get enough tickets.
That's a big deal, yeah.
Big. New York, that's the centipede.
Plus, Eastern people are
Different.
like that. They're very, very supportive.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. Bam, all your friends are there.
Yeah, well, I did my first match in Bakersfield, which is my hometown. They put me on the front of the program. Maybe 2 guys out of 10 came.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why do you want to do that? It's not something we want. We don't like the arena because it's in a bad area.
Right.
No,
But it
I
wasn't
see, yeah.
popular either.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't a popular thing
Yeah.
in the 60s. In the 60s was pretty raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great.
I took a lot of heat for doing that.
Yeah.
But it worked out fine. And I trained with Johnny May up in the Olympic Auditorium.
Johnny May, yeah.
Upstairs on the linoleum floor with a canvas on it and makeshift ropes.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a similar moment that made me want to get into wrestling.
Okay.
WrestleMania,
Oh, yeah.
Miami, and I saw that show, and it was the Miami Dolphins Stadium.
Oh, right.
Most people that had been there since 1985.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that,
For
yeah.
WrestleMania.
Big.
And it was the coolest show. I was just like super impressed. And I was like, I can do that.
Yeah. It was
It's
great.
just- there's that moment where you're just
Yeah.
like, wait a second. This is
And it clicks.
it.
And you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel you on that. We're
Yeah.
just like, wait a second. I got this.
Yeah, but I never felt it for baseball. You know, I actually saw a baseball show with Joe DiMaggio,
Yeah.
one of his last times he ever played, right? And Mantle was a rookie. So I'm saying, I never felt like I'm going to play baseball. I never thought of it.
old.
I
It's
never
really
thought of
funny
it.
because
I am old.
I went out for football. I didn't care for it. I went out for basketball. I didn't care for it. Played tennis. It was all right. And then playing in the rock band guitar, because that was really my thing, guitar, and I still play it. I mean, that was really my thing. But then I went into bodybuilding and weightlifting, won some contests, won some powerlifting, because it was a one-on-one type. It's not a team thing. It's you're known for who you are.
Right,
And I
right.
liked it. And then when I saw wrestling, and my dad used to take me too. I was 12
Yeah.
years old. And I said, is this real or not? I'm quite sure, right?
Yeah.
And as I got older, I turned around 18. He passed away, and my mom, I tried to get her to go, and she wouldn't go. And then when I started training with Johnny May, I found out about going down there. I took her down to my first workout, and she waited in the stands at the Olympic Auditorium with nobody in there. And I came out with Matt burns, and my nose was all scraped up.
Oh, yeah.
She said, "You're not going to do this, are you?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go eat. I'm coming back tomorrow." and so I did. And of course, my grandmother's from Austria, and she was old school. "Yeah, my son, you shouldn't be doing this. My grandson, he's too nice a boy." I said, "Trust me, Grandma, I'm going to do this." And so they saw it on TV, and then they became, "That's my son. That's
Yeah.
my grandson." You know,
Exactly.
that's a big deal.
My biggest fan was my grandmother.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, from Europe.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, Lenny's on, and this is great." That's my real name.
Yeah.
So I go like this. She and the grandfather, they loved it. They watched it. They loved that stuff.
Yeah. We had a lot more freedom in wrestling back then than we did now.
Yes.
When we would show up at the matches, we'd get there an hour before. It wasn't any big hype getting there early or doing anything.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to run the match the way we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
We'd put the finish on the board, as long as it didn't come out somebody else's finish, but you could do your own match.
Right. And then there was kayfabe.
Yeah.
So actually, people just would talk and then they would leave rooms.
We have to tell Lissy what kayfabe is.
Tell them, okay, yeah.
Okay. Kayfabe is a word, and it's used in wrestling meaning secret. So, example, if we're talking about matches or something, and you walk in the room, he'd say kayfabe. You not the word means
Kayfabe.
Yeah. Kayfabe.
K-A-Y? Is it K-Y?
Secret.
K-A-F-A-B-E.
K-F-A-B.
Yeah. It just means shut up.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you kayfabe somebody, you're not giving them inner circle to talk about.
Right.
Them.
That's what it
You're
amounts.
keeping them out of the loop.
And this is a wrestling term.
It's a wrestling
That's a term.
Been around
Yeah.
since ever. So basically, we're talking about wrestling, and somebody walks in the locker room, you don't even know each other because they don't want you to know. We don't want them to know that we're working this thing out.
Got it.
And if you're in a group of people and you're talking about somebody, and the other person knows the word, say kayfabe, they won't know you're talking about them.
Yeah.
Well, is it like commonplace now? Would people be like, "Oh, you're talking about something"? You know what I mean? Now it's
no.
like, "Oh,
It's a term that you know in
What you talking
wrestling.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
people don't know it.
No.
They don't know it now.
No.
They still
Got
don't
it.
know.
And even back then, and when the old school, we're going to run some matches here in a minute. When you kayfabed, I mean, what you saw on TV and you saw out of the ring, you always carried your character with you. I mean, you didn't. If he and I had a match together, we didn't socialize outside the match together, unless we were down at the beach and no one knew it. I mean,
Right.
Right.
But not around the arena. And we
Makes
wouldn't go out,
sense.
we wouldn't go sit together. Today, the guys who wrestle each other, they go sit together and have something to drink and talk.
No.
Yeah. It's completely different. now.
Yeah, and and then the people say, "Oh, it's not. Look, they're best friends." Back then, they didn't know if you were friends or not. Are you really friends with Jack? Do you guys get along? No,
Oh, I
he's
love that.
No, he's an asshole. I don't
That's
like
the way
him.
it should be.
5 blocks away, you get in the car.
Yeah.
You could have drove together, but you
Right.
get out 5 blocks earlier.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
That's just it keeps it all together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what keeps the mystery.
Yeah.
It was the mystery.
Like the secrets of magic. I don't want to know how they did that trick,
Yeah.
but I do. But I don't really. You know.
But you guys had your own language too.
yes.
Yes.
Even back then.
Carney language.
Yeah,
Right.
Carney
Yeah.
language.
That's a whole nother term.
Connie, folks.
It's different.
It's different. Yeah.
It's not like small hands. Smells
No,
like
it's not.
cabbage.
It's a whole, it's a
Connie's
language.
food.
It's not like
It's a
using
language.
certain words. It's a language.
Like
that
Pig
they
Latin,
developed.
Pig Latin, for example.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Well,
understand.
Carney language is Carney talk, which was used in wrestling because wrestling's first entry into the public was the carnival.
Carney, right.
Yeah.
And so the carnival, Carney, meaning Carney is Carney talk. Like, for example,
Yeah, Carney folks.
Blade job would be Blize Giza, right?
Right.
And so it's, you know this term. Even my daughter knows the language, which
Right.
is really weird. And she saw some gay guys. She said, "There's some Giza eyes out there." I said, they don't know what we're talking about, right? But it is a language, and it's only used in the wrestling. It's funny, isn't it? It's funny because nobody has a clue.
No, but now they don't have to.
The only people
Because they're all well informed.
when I was married, the only people in my house knew were my kids. My wife didn't know it, so we could talk in front of her about her, and she didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
She'd walk in the room, my daughter, kayfabe. What are you guys talking about? Nothing. Nothing.
Just big kids.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so funny to hear the insides like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's how
But it
everybody's
was that way.
playing around.
But that's old school, and we were talking about matches and hot finishes on SmackDown, and hot finishes meaning that, like Jack said,
Yeah.
you could go a 40-minute match and do a complete switch at the end, and the fans would go nuts enough to go out and find your car,
Right.
and break your windshield, and like Gordon and Goliath, they want to kill him.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I have to take a moment to tell everyone
Take a
that
moment.
before you're going to shop online,
Yes.
you should just go to, if you're going to go to Amazon, go to AfterBuzzTV.com and click on our Amazon banner at the top, and then shop through that banner, and we get a kickback. AfterBuzz gets the kickback on your purchase, so it keeps us on the air. No extra cost for you, and helps us out.
That was so well done.
Thanks.
Now, kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
Okay. I want to put on a match, Marissa, and it's the third one down with Ed Strangler Lewis. This was probably in the 30s.
Real vintage. Yeah.
Well, Ed Strangler was known for his headlock.
Headlock. Right.
And it's really weird because that's all he ever used. He put guys out with it, and it got really to be boring. Look at this. Now, this isn't TV because they didn't have it, obviously. This is on film.
8 millimeter probably.
Yeah, or 16.
16 back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see how they keep breaking.
Yeah.
You know, because they know if you
Look at
go
this.
too long with it, then you're going to lose the audience.
Right. Back to the headlock over and over and
Yeah.
over. But it's just the holds were a little bit different back then. That's supposedly a snapmare, but I think he actually pulled him over. I don't think the guy went with it.
Yeah.
Definitely not like it is now.
And Strangle Lewis trained Luthez.
Did he?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
What year did you say this was?
This is in the 30s.
Yeah, 30s.
That's when you were just a kid, Lissy. You look pretty good for your age.
I try.
I know you do. Even you can see the headlock's on the right. Ah, he switched it. But that's not even a takeover.
He actually just throws the guy down.
He just muscles him down.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it was different. I mean, like I said, in the carnivals, they would have one guy up on the stage and they'd threaten somebody in the audience to come in and try to wrestle him.
Right.
Usually that was a plant, and they'd come in and do them. People would bet money on it, and they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that was a carnival, and that's where a lot of this originated. And then over the years, I mean, it's like some of the stuff you did back in the garden. I mean, that was really good stuff back then.
Yeah, it
You
was
don't
a
see
different
You don't
era.
see matches like that today.
No.
And I think with everything moving fast forward so much, and everything like you said, they're ADD and they're on the Game Boys and all that.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit and follow a story. They just want to see action.
That's why it has to be told for them.
I know.
It's all written.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why there's no kayfabe.
I know.
It's all written. They go on the internet and find out who's going to do what.
Well, the internet ruined it.
Yeah,
It
completely.
opened up everything, and you got these internet marks that sit home that nobody knows, and they type all this crappy stuff on. They say horrible things about people and about wrestling and this and that, and they know who's going to win, they know who's going to this, and they divulge it before it's even seen, and it just ruins. I think it just ruins it.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. And they also know who gets in trouble.
Yeah, too.
They know every single detail. So-and-so got drug bust. Every single thing they know.
Well, that's true. You didn't hear about it back in the day unless there was a wrestler who became Dr. So-and-so. He had actually killed his wife. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Killer.
You mean the one in Detroit?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was his name? He was a doctor, like the guy in The Fugitive. He killed
The Fugitive.
Yeah, he
It
killed
was
his
like The
wife.
Fugitive, yeah.
He lost his practice.
Kimball, like Richard Kimball.
Yeah, then he comes back and he goes into wrestling as a killer, and that's where he made his money after that. And I don't know if he really killed his wife or not. He got off actually after doing some prison time, but he couldn't go back to practicing, so he went into wrestling and became Killer So-and-so, whoever his name was, I forgot. But they had Killer Carl Cox, who I have on this too.
Yeah.
But the name Killer in wrestling back then carried a lot of weight.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane that he'd even have any type of career after that.
I know. Well,
Oh, he worked for the Sheik.
that's why they looked down on the wrestlers,
Yeah.
because they accepted almost anybody.
Yeah.
And if you were like a guy like that, they'd made money on you.
Right? No, it makes
Right?
sense. Like,
Yeah.
you're an insane person. Like,
Exactly.
let's go for it.
Can we see, Jack will like this, the Sheik and Bobo Brazil? Bobo was a great wrestler.
Great. They were both great.
Yep.
Now, Sheiky had that connection, and Bobo. They both had the connection with the audience.
I know you like the Sheik.
Yeah.
No, Bobo Brazil says he's going to beat Satan right out of the Sheik tonight.
Let me tell you,
Who's this guy in the red?
Bobo Brazil,
That was his manager for a while.
Yes.
I forgot what his name
I forgot
was.
his name.
Yeah.
I can't think of
he's
it.
gonna crush you, terrorize
See, this
you,
was my era when I came into it around this
tear
time.
you
When I like,
apart. Bobo Brazil, there'll be nothing left of you when the Sheik gets his hands on you. No more Bobo Brazil. This I am very sure, because it's gonna be a very dangerous night, Bobo Brazil.
Bobo was a big man.
6'6",
Yeah.
295. Yeah. They probably had 500 matches, these two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could blame Bobo for my Cadillacs.
Really?
He used to give me his keys for his car when I was a kid.
Really?
And he had a new Eldorado every time. He says, "You're driving, I'm drinking."
Back in the day, I mean, they would use weapons in the ring. For example, someone throw a paper cup in there, they'd wad it up and rake your eyes with it and do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
You don't see that today.
No.
oh, here goes like the early table stuff.
Yeah, but they had to go through the tables. You just hit them with it.
I don't think you could go to those tables
No.
back then. Yeah. You see the way he's not letting Bobo do anything?
Yeah,
That's selling.
that's right. That's what's building up the heat
See,
right now.
and the Sheik
Yeah.
will stay on top of him until Bobo's ready.
Right.
So far, it's all Sheik.
Yeah. See, the fans are going nuts.
Yeah, they hate him now. Every minute they hate him more. Oh, I think that guy's name was Creechman.
Oh, Creechman, that's right.
That's right.
That's the
Creechman.
manager, yeah.
Right.
Oh, he's biting.
Yeah.
Somebody has to bleed.
Look at all the stuff coming in the ring.
Yeah, people would throw stuff in the ring like that, yeah. Look at that stuff flying in there.
But watch when Bobo makes his comeback.
I know.
He's still selling.
I don't know if he's coming back. Looks like somebody shot this with a home camera.
It looks that way, yeah.
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 Is he bleeding?
Yeah.
Yes, and back then that blood was real back
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's still real.
It's still real.
But you don't see it as much.
No,
You
they don't want to do it for the kids.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't come back on this match. I thought he
No.
was going to.
Butch, who's going to win the bout, Butch?
But it's believable.
Very.
Thanks, Marissa. Bobo, yeah, he was quite a guy. And his headbutt was the one that was
Bobo.
his take home,
Yeah.
the headbutt, cocoa butt.
Cocoa Butts. And you want to know another thing? Like, you see that match? That may have been a match leading up to another match. So we saw the match, right? Bobo didn't get to him.
Right. It's like,
And they leave you that way.
Right,
till
And
next
then
time.
like a hanger.
right.
You just lean there.
You have to go to the next show.
You got it.
You didn't
and
have
then,
television.
And
You
they're going
had
to tell
travel.
their friends, and it's going to be bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right.
That's the way it multiplies.
Yeah, you had to fill those seats.
That's a science.
It's a science. It's a long-term project, you
Yeah.
know, to do that.
And the only advertising they had back then, a poster in your drugstore.
Yeah.
And the grocery store, there was a poster of the show.
There was no national TV.
Yeah.
at all.
No national hookup until 1983. That was the national hookup.
But they had local TV.
Local TVs, yeah.
And that's what we talked about last time about territories. Each territory had its own little TV station,
Yeah.
and they had their own promotion, and they did real well. Like Roy Shires up in Northern California drew big crowds.
Yeah, Omaha.
I
Yeah.
love the idea of that too, because as you can recreate yourself and be like, you could be great in this territory, and then
Yes.
you kind of suck in this one, but then you're amazing here. It's really
That's
Exactly.
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
cool.
That's exactly the way it was.
And then they had magazines,
magazines,
which
yeah.
weren't owned by WWE. They were
Right.
independent, they, like Wrestling Review and
Wrestling World.
the Wrestling World. And
Yeah.
so they went around the country, and we all had our pictures in there because they came from different territories, and you had write-ups. And so if you wanted to go somewhere else, if you wanted to go wherever you want to go, they'd see you in the magazine, they knew who you were, you could go there and work, and then maybe create a different character there.
Right. Yeah, and now that's the way everybody knew. But nowadays, oh, so-and-so's in North Carolina. Did you see that match? Yeah, and they'll texting and internet. You wouldn't hide anything from anybody nowadays.
No.
You couldn't have territories.
No.
Everybody would know everything.
Yeah.
It would be amazing, really.
NWA has it on Saturdays. They run some local channel
1
here.
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning.
KDOC.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do okay.
They do okay, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they're making any money with it.
No, but I noticed that it's a good step for the guys, because the guys could go to TNA
Right.
or something like that. You know what I mean? They can go from their show to TNA.
Right.
So it's good for masters to keep on polished by going to that type of show and then going to the next place.
Right. As long as they get good footage on themselves.
Yeah.
I have another match here. Do you remember Brute Bernard?
Yes, I work with him.
Okay, and Killer
Brute
Carl Cox, Marissa?
Yeah. Killer Carl Cox from Kansas City,
Yeah.
St. Louis area.
He's
yeah.
still alive.
Yes.
He's on
he is.
Facebook.
Yeah, he's still around. Yeah,
He's in
I saw him at the
it's
convention.
Like 90?
Pretty close, 80s.
These two wild men apart. There's Reagan. He's got a handful of hair, trying to pull Cox
Handful of
away.
hair.
And Cox hits him with an elbow, and back goes Reagan. He kicks
There.
Reagan
No.
in the head. He picks him up, a brainbuster, and crash goes the
A
referee.
brainbuster, they
Bob
called
Reagan
it.
Yeah.
From the brainbuster. Now Cox goes in after Bernard. He slams him down to the canvas and lines him up and hits him with an elbow. Crash he goes, and Bernard is down, dazed. Cox on top now as the fans are with him. You can hear them roar. Listen to them. Stadium roof just about lifted, and look, Cox going up to the top rope. Off the top rope, he saw that the referee was out of action, and he took the opportunity to sneak from the referee's sights and jump from the top rope. He hit Bernard, and he's
Right on
looks
him.
like a
Here we go.
brainbuster. He's lined him up again, but Cox is tripped over. Cox tripped over the referee when he had Bernard lined up for the brainbuster. Bernard staggering around, he's fallen through the ropes on the far side, and he's off, he's gone, staggering through the crowd.
Do you also notice that the ropes are very loose?
Very loose.
Bernard
They couldn't do
out,
those aerials they do
shaken
now.
as he
The ropes are like
dazed goes through the
platforms
crowd, but here
now.
he comes back
Right.
in, being assisted too.
can step
being
right up.
assisted as he is pushed back into the ring. Cyclone Negro assisting Brute Bernard.
Remember
into the
Cyclone
ring,
Negro?
and
Yes.
Cox takes the
Right.
opportunity to give one to
Cyclone
Cyclone Negro.
what?
Negro.
Bernard is
Negro.
dazed. The
Meaning,
referee's out to it.
dark
Negro's
cloud.
down.
Got it.
Now Cox lifts Bernard up again, brainbuster, but driving that head of Cyclone Negro right into the midsection of Killer Carl Cox. Here's 2-1 now. The Madman, Brute Bernard, the Madman, Cyclone Negro, and look at Bernard. Bernard's going to the top rope, off the top rope, right.
You don't see that move anymore either, dragging the leg across like that.
Here's
No.
Mario Milano coming in to try and help Cox as he pounds into firstly Negro, then Bernard, then Negro. Cox is down. He's out to it at the moment. So's Reagan. But 2 against 1. Bernard and Cyclone Negro have got Milano. Bernard's got Milano's legs. Here comes Larry O'Day as they try to get Milano out of the way. They're coming right, left and centre. Larry O'Day, Moose Borowski's there, Johnny Gray, Tony Marino.
Original
Bob
Battle
Phillips as well.
Royale.
Yeah, I remember these days.
Look at Cox. He's down and out to it. So's Reagan. Cyclone Negro down in the corner. Milano. Oh, you can't keep up with the action. It's everywhere. Bernard has gone mad. He kicks Cox, and Cox goes out between the ropes.
That's fun
He's
stuff,
hurt.
though.
He's down and out. Right on the floor of the stadium. They're trying to break these men apart, trying to get Milano away, trying to get Bernard away, and Negro. Meanwhile, Bernard and Negro have taken the opportunity to slip out of the ring as they've tried to sort everything out.
You know,
And have a look
actually,
at
that
There's
day,
bodies
it would be very
everywhere.
rough to do top aerial stuff from the ropes, which will be actually dangerous for you.
Yes.
See it? Trying to climb up in those ropes?
Yeah. Can't do it.
And the guys didn't do it.
And he's in
They didn't have guys do it. No.
They had a couple of flyers. Ricky Starr.
Carpentier.
Carpentier, yeah.
Rocca and Perez.
Referee is down in the middle of the ring.
All right, Marissa, thanks.
Bob Reagan is down.
You know, I look at these, and when I had Dallas Page on, and Mike Sanders, and Eric McGinn, or Nigel McGuinness, these guys are all good wrestlers, and they love this. They love those days. They said they'll never go back because everything's changed. Right. But those were the days when the stories were good. I mean, you really got involved at ringside.
Yeah, good storylines.
And I was told if the boys in the locker room got excited about it, you had a good match.
That was great. They used to come out and watch your matches.
Yeah.
Then you knew you really did it.
Yeah.
They want to see what move you're going to do tonight,
right?
Or what new thing you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They used to come and watch you. It was great.
What do you? This is new to you. So when you see it, what do you think?
I think this looked. Some of it was so well done that it looked really like it hurt a lot. Like that was really good. I mean. Yeah. I like that they're kind of not in shape and like just look like regular dudes.
Exactly.
Crazy.
That's my point.
But a guy like Brute Bernard was 6'3", 275.
He's big.
That's big.
Yeah, but everybody else is big around him, so it looks like, hey, there's a guy that's not that great a shape.
Right.
Rich, can you run Killer Kowalski and Yukon Eric? This was kind of a good match. I love Kowalski.
That was great. Kowalski was great.
Yeah.
Love Walter.
Guys came together like a pair of Jersey bulls. Drag. Talk about DX. Boy, he got it.
Vince reminds me of Kowalski.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you kind of remind me of him.
And you know whose work reminds me of Kowalski? Orton Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Randy
see that.
Orton. He works beautiful like Kowalski.
That's Kowalski in the corner.
Even that, like,
Yukon's
throw,
not
you got
trusting
some air on that.
Yeah, he did get air on
Really
that.
jumping.
And he was, Kowalski was one of the early characters.
Yes, he
People
was.
really liked it. He could talk, he was good on the mic.
Perpetual motion, kept the action going.
Doesn't like those
And
flying arm drags.
he got a lot of guys into the business, trained a lot of people.
Lots of guys. Triple H.
Yeah.
China.
Yeah. Big, strong guy.
Yeah.
I remember Yukon Eric. I don't remember a lot about him, but I remember him.
Sort of a version of this arm lock. Let go. Well, between Friedman and Kowalski, they'll get the old boy dry pig. He just flaying him.
Look at the crowd was even different. Yeah.
Get him, you con. What's the matter with you?
See, he was relentless.
Yeah.
Kowalski. He made the babyface fight back.
One, two, three.
That was a quick finish.
But both shoulders were down.
Yeah.
On both guys.
Yeah.
See? He was the under guy and one was the over guy.
A hassle. I think the referee counted the wrong guy. Winner with the best crowd, Kowalski.
Oh, yeah. That's...
Come on, kid, get on your running gear.
Now it should erupt again here.
That's what I meant by a double cross.
Right. That's
great.
exactly the point, Lissy.
There we go.
Quit bragging, Mr. Kowalski. You'll get...
Now, Kowalski was a big guy that could move. 6'7", 275.
It really looks huge.
Yeah.
That's funny. He takes him over for a pin, and he gets pinned.
Yeah.
But that's a good finish.
That was great, yeah.
Unexpected.
Both shoulders are down.
Right.
He's the bottom guy.
Right.
And he's the top guy.
Unexpected.
Yeah.
You don't see that today either?
No, that was actually really good finish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'd love to see this come back around again.
I don't know what they're going to do.
No, but I mean, if you incorporate some of this with some of the high spots today, then you've got something.
Right.
It doesn't have to all be high spots and no selling, because a lot of the guys today don't sell.
No.
And that's the whole key to this business, selling.
Yeah.
I mean, if WWE is the way it is, but if you're going to do indie shows and start off like you will, I mean, that's your chance to really learn that stuff and get those audiences fired up by selling. Selling's the key.
Because it gives you the timing of the audience.
Right.
You see? And nowadays, the guys don't have the timing to too busy doing aerial.
Yeah.
They're flying out here, flying out there.
You know, we talked about that a lot because a lot of guys want to do a match. I want to do all these 20 things in the match.
Right.
What about selling and getting the audience participation? No, I got to do all these things. It's important.
I work with Eduardo Carpentier, who was great back in the day, which I loved to work with him. I was looking forward to that, my idol. Yeah. So I go in there and I said, I'm going to act like just like Kowalski. So I stayed on top of him. He said, that's what I want. That's what I want. Stay on top of me. He made his comeback. Those people were loading the ring almost. The people went nuts. Wow. But he gave away a whole match. You know who was modern day of that? Steamboat. Ricky, the Dragon. He used to say, we'll work together. We do 20 minutes. He gives me 18 minutes of the match. But when he won, they went nuts the last 2 minutes. It was like rioting.
Yeah.
But he would sell. He was one of the last guys that really knew how to sell.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Sheik was one of the real villains.
Yeah.
Iron Sheik was one of the real last villains where I saw police cars coming to take him out.
Wow.
And ambulances because he couldn't get out of the building in the garden back in New York.
That's crazy.
You know, but it was him and Slaughter, him and Hulk Hogan.
They started,
They started the thing.
Yeah,
that was the
I remember in the late 70s. Remember his thing was, Iran #1,
big,
USA 2,
and could work and look good.
People just.
He was the whole package.
Yeah, and then they bring out, Sergeant Slaughter, who was all American. He was American. It was like the forces against each other.
No, it was perfect.
People hated him. Oh, it was great. Rivalry.
And that was before the Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah,
that was before.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Yeah. Hulk Hogan thing took over in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, his big thing came in when he did
Rocky III.
Rocky III, and that for him that was just like a thing. He didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
It was.
He just was saying, "I'm gonna go down. I got to do this thing in Florida." This
Thunderlips.
Yeah, and it made him a household name
with Mr. T. Mr. T became a household name that time too.
Yeah. Yeah,
it was right off Rocky III.
You know where I see Mr. T a lot. When I go eat at El Pollo Loco, he's always at the post office. He always comes and sits with me. We became pretty good friends.
He's a nice man.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, I was with him at the matches.
A great guy.
Yeah.
He's so humble, and we just sit and talk. He met my mom before she died. Yeah. He always asked about her. He's just one of those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Super dude.
I used to see him at the boxing matches all the time.
Yeah.
Over here at the country club, and he was a good guy. He was
good guy.
Always there.
He lives right there in Sherman Oaks. Drives a little Mercedes. Yeah.
Oh. I never see him around.
He got me out of the Pollo one day. Come here, I got something in my trunk. He gives me these things that has all of his little sayings on it. You push a button, all that funny little catchphrases he has. What are you going to tell us about?
Yeah, I've got to say, if you go to iTunes, you can rate and comment on the show.
I'm going to go right now.
Go tell your friends. It only takes a minute. And you can say what you think about us and this show and Mr. T and whatever else you want.
Oh, I like that. I have another one more to run. Marissa, the bottom one with Johnny Valentine. That's the Hammer's dad. Greg
the Hammer Valentine.
And Bearcat Wright.
Oh, that was great.
I like Bearcat Wright.
Yeah, he was great.
Of the toughest man to ever step foot in a ring, Johnny Valentine, who is a legend.
It's like a diaper.
It is. It depends.
How underrated Bearcat Wright is.
That's right. Bearcat is a great one, but boy, that Johnny Valentine, he is the legend. Everybody in the wrestling business always wanted to wrestle with Johnny.
Greg was nothing like Johnny, right?
No, two different types. Yeah.
There ever was, and he had that.
Johnny was great.
Oh yeah,
I know
he was.
Great worker.
Yeah, look, still the soft ropes.
Yeah, and also flawless timing. Johnny Valentine. Why Johnny Valentine?
One
he
of the
had
few
that big
men
head
that actually had a size advantage on Johnny Valentine as he locks that front face lock in.
He's getting ready.
Bearcat Wright, 6'6", 275.
Yeah, Bearcat's a great athlete and a great wrestler. What a career he had too.
He died, didn't he?
Yeah. Continuing to punish Valentine.
And Ernie Ladd.
Yeah, and Ernie Ladd did.
Garibaldi, the third man in the ring. Jack, you remember the first time you wrestled Johnny Valentine?
Yes, I remember it. I believe it was in Miami, Florida.
That's Jack Briscoe.
A couple of years before this here, and course, I had known of Johnny Valentine, followed his career through the magazines and seen him on TV, and I was just quite in awe of him when I got to wrestle him in Miami Beach. I didn't see him until we got into the ring, and he was even more impressive when I saw him in person than even I imagined.
See, this nose is a guillotine now.
Yeah,
yeah. To that front headlock.
But they work it for a long time.
Johnny Valentine trying to do everything in his power, and look at the crowd. Look how close they're paying attention. This was a wrestling crowd here at the Armory, and they understood what that front face lock meant. They understood how hard Johnny Valentine was trying to get out of it.
There was a very knowledgeable crowd in Tampa.
See how he's selling it little by little, just falling apart.
And notice, check out the ring.
Including myself,
watch the ring and the crowd. You see how close the crowd is to the ring? And you can't see the crowd. There's a light over the ring, but not in the crowd. Now they light up the crowd with the signs.
I don't like it.
It's a new world.
I don't like it.
You had to focus on this match. You see it?
Yeah.
Everything's on the guys.
Well, that's the way it was in most of the places we wrestled. Those
back in the days.
Ring lights, the big box lights on top, and the audience in the house was dark.
This is a modern thing that took place with WrestleMania 1 from that point on.
But also, like the indie shows, is something you're going to experience. It's more intimate. The crowd is close. You have to do this.
Yeah.
You can't do those big aerial stuff. The places are small. You know, you've got to show it. You've got to act it.
Whatever you do up close has to be really tight and look good, because right there they can pick it right out.
And these are true fans, so they know what's going on.
Going to indie
People
shows,
who go these little shows, they're the true fans.
Oh my, Johnny Valentine was a very powerful man. I remember one time I had a match with him on TV, and I saw the
who that is talking.
TV show.
Oh, that's Jack Briscoe.
Is it?
Yeah, Jack Briscoe.
My chest collapsed.
Now Leo Garibaldi trying to break Johnny Valentine off Bearcat right.
You remember Leo?
I know. Leo Garibaldi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave me one of my gimmicks.
He was our booker.
Yeah. Super Scorpion.
You need wrestling tights on to step in between those two guys.
Boy, and the air almost came out of the crowd.
He was a nice guy.
Yeah. Hit right in the chest there. Now Bearcat Wright trying to fight his way back into the ring. Johnny Valentine holding on to the rope, trying to absorb the punishment. Yeah, Bearcat Wright could give it out as
He's really selling those punches.
Johnny Valentine now responding with a couple of shots of his own. And Valentine is going to lean him back over the ropes, and there's another shot to the chest.
By the way, he does lay them in.
I know he does.
He was known for laying them in, yeah. That's why the guy sells so good.
He lays those punches hard.
Hey, they're both laying into each other. You're wondering why this is a real fight. This is early MMA. Early MMA.
No more relentless than Johnny Valentine.
Yeah, I'm sure. The first real hit you get, you're going to hit back just as hard.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, boy, these guys are really into it. The fans are right there.
Yeah. Did you ever get like really nailed by a guy and just want to just smack him back?
Well, you know what? It develops into a good match, really. If you have to regulate that.
Yeah.
You just regulate it into the match. Then he knows he's in for a hell of a night.
That happened with a lot of the Mexicans with the mask that didn't speak English.
That's right.
They'd potato you. I mean, they'd punch you a couple of times. You had to give it back to them because they didn't understand English. You couldn't say stop, loosen up a bit. Just get you right back.
Yeah.
One of these guys, as we mentioned earlier, if it hadn't been for his...
But some guys plan it that way too. Like me and Reggie Parks had 200 matches like that. So that's because we both trained, both worked out. So we said, and the people said, we can't wait to watch their match. That's what we wanted.
Bearcat was an extremely intelligent man.
And Leo Garibaldi's going to catch an elbow.
He's going to feel that for a while.
Also, the referee, they used to use him a lot more.
They were part of it. Part of it. Well, actually, the referee had to finish.
I didn't know Bearcat was a heel.
Oh, maybe at this point in time in the career, yeah.
Bearcat Wright trying to take advantage of the opportunity, and he's...
Now you see the way Johnny sells?
All you need is a horse.
Yeah, dying and alive at the same time.
Yeah. And he's keeping this going for...
Yeah. And he's going to sell the hell out of it.
And the crowd is going crazy. I remember when I was a kid sitting there. Hey, come on.
See, they're going to go into a tizzy.
Now Garibaldi's going to check Valentine's arms. He thinks that Bearcat Wright has the sleeper on him. Now he's in a pinning position.
You hear the people?
Yeah.
They're right there.
And Leo Garibaldi's going to count 3. Bearcat Wright
See him hiding in
the rope back into his trunk.
There you go.
And what an upset for Bearcat Wright to get a pinfall victory over the legendary Johnny Valentine. And the crowd at the Armory is not happy, as you can already see security circling the ring.
You see, that's the way he had to get out of the night. Yeah. He's lucky to get out of that arena.
So he cheated by using the rope. The rope, whatever.
Yeah, they want to make sure Bearcat gets.
You don't see that anymore either.
No.
Unharmed.
Leo Garibaldi checking to see what happened. Bearcat Wright says, no, it was just the reverse chin lock. I'm so powerful, I took him out with a reverse chin lock. Now, I believe that's Stu Schwartz coming up to the ringside area now.
Yeah, the second referee.
Bearcat Wright now doing a pretty good job playing offensive tackle with those long arms. And Stu Schwartz just got his payoff for the evening.
Stu's wishing he'd have stayed in the dressing room.
Yeah, he could have phoned that in. Now he's going to catch a kick to go with it. Now Leo Garibaldi is going to reverse the decision and raise Johnny Valentine's hand. Now Leo Garibaldi doing his best Jesse Owens impression. That was a nice hurdle over that second rope.
Leo knew when to evacuate.
Yeah, they have to give Valentine one good comeback.
And Bearcat Wright's got that rope back.
He's selling the whole entire time.
The whole time, yeah.
Now here comes Garibaldi and Schwartz to try to pull Bearcat Wright off Johnny Valentine. Good luck with that. So they're going to go the other way with it and try to pull Johnny Valentine away from Bearcat Wright. A lot less resistance that way.
Yeah, a lot safer.
Now Garibaldi, boy, Bearcat
Valentine's got to make a comeback here somewhere.
Johnny Valentine. Now Garibaldi trying to pull Bearcat Wright off by the chin. That's like trying to pull a Rottweiler off a steak.
Bearcat had him in where he wanted him and wanted to put him away.
It's two men trying to pull an unconscious Johnny Valentine away from Bearcat Wright, and not very successfully. And now a headbutt, Bearcat Wright's favorite move, and Garibaldi's going to go all the way to the floor across the ring. Stu Schwartz in a precarious position, to say the least. Bearcat Wright with the... He's just going to try to strangle Johnny Valentine in the middle of the arm. Finally, they're going to get Bearcat Wright away, and it's going to take both referees to help Johnny Valentine back to the locker room.
Guess there is no comeback.
No. That means this goes on to another show.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
There's a rivalry.
Well, that's old school.
That was 73.
Yeah, I know.
73, yeah.
I know. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You just don't see those matches anymore.
No.
And you know, all the years we've been in business, I still enjoy them.
Yeah, and you know where you may see it, believe it or not, a little bit on TNA sometimes. They have some great matches.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, but those guys really work kind of like old school, and they don't have a complete script, I don't think.
Watch the girls in there, too. They're good wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're almost better than WWE.
Yeah, but it's more wrestling.
Yeah, back then was, they were much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think we're done with old school for the day, but I'm really glad you came. I had a hard time getting you here.
Great being here.
Yeah,
Great being here.
It brings back a lot of memories, doesn't it?
Well, we always have a good time, Rick. We've been having it for years.
Yes, we do. And so we can find you down at Gold's Venice whenever we want to.
Gold's Venice.
Turn over the rock and you're there.
Yeah, and I also have an auction coming in September, Ira and Larry Goldberg auctions on rare currency and coins.
Where's that?
It'll be down in West Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We'll have
look under Larry and Larry Goldberg auctioneers, and it comes right up September.
And you're going to come back on the show?
Yes.
Okay, good. You got time now, right?
Yeah, I got plenty of time.
And Vince, you're playing football?
I'm playing football at Pasadena for the California Tide. We play on Saturdays.
Yep. We can find you on Facebook under Vince Adams, and YouTube under Vince Adams.
Vince Adams Training.
Training.
Yep.
And Lissy, we can find you at Gold's Gym in Hollywood, huh?
That's right.
No more slinging hash.
No, thankfully. Personal training now.
And then you're training for wrestling, and one of these days soon, hopefully, you'll be doing matches as well.
I will be.
And we're having you back on here too, right?
I'll be back.
You promise?
I'll be back, I promise.
Great. I'm Ric Drasin. Find me at ricdrasin.com, my book on my life, my book on wrestling schools and promoting, and I got a Muscles, the video that I shot back in '87. It's a training video also for sale. I just dug it up and made copies of it, so it's all fun. And thanks for watching our old school AfterBuzz. It was fun.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.